Hi and welcome. Today I'd like to try something new and do a review of my recent bike for you. The Wilier Jena. The reason I got this bike to begin with was because of a visit to the recently established Wilier reseller in Haninge, located south of and close to Stockholm. When visiting the store I spotted the Wilier Jena right away. I thought it looked really cool and beautiful in a rough and untraditional way. Paint job of the bike looks great, but also the shapes and the lines of the frame appeals to me. I fancy the indecisive design that brings in a lot of different elements that to me do not really make sense to combine, but in total still makes a very versatile and competent bike that is fun to ride and surprisingly fast and playful. And I guess that goes along well with how Wilier themselves market the bike. Free to choose, along with the video mixing performance riding with soft gravel adventure and exploration. It seems like Wilier is basically saying that they are not sure themselves on how to use the bike, but they throw in a bunch of features and elements that makes it a very versatile weapon so that you can decide for yourself how to use it. For instance, the frame feels very stiff with a great power transfer. It features an aerofoil camtail kind of down tube, but have a round seat tube and a seat post that allows for a bit more flex and compliance. The rear triangle where the tube shapes are actually directly in opposite of being an aero profile. So front of the frame is more or less aero and back of the frame is rather the opposite. Or part of the frame front anyway, since the head tube is so long, and also because of the big clearance, it is a bit challenging to really get into an ideal aero position on the bike, unless the stem is both slammed and maybe even replaced with the stem with more slope. The 60-ton carbon fiber quality indicates performance and short and powerful rides with lots of speed. But then the frame also sports a great number of mounts for bottle cages, mudguards, fenders, pannier bags or even a rack, which aims more for the long kind of explorer and adventure ride, I guess. But as I mentioned, I really think the bike performs very well, but it is at its best when at least a bit of gravel is thrown upon it. If you intend to ride mostly on tarmac and double the bike as a real road bike, and with that also be able to go really fast and competitive, there are gravel bikes on the market better suited to be able to keep up on tarmac as well. This bike shines the best on the unpaved roads. For me, a gravel bike is mostly for exercising and commuting. In Stockholm, where I live, in Sweden, we have sub-zero degrees at winter, and with that comes ice, snow and studded tires as well. I got my bike weighed in at the bike shop and it came in at just below 9 kilos without pedals. I'd say that is quite reasonable based on the price and Shimano Ultegra group set that was equipped on the bike. Some of the components fitted on the bike are quite basic components that are sturdy and works perfectly fine, but adds a bit of weight penalty to the bike. Stem, handlebar and seat post are more what you expect to find on a Shimano 105 bike, which means they are not bad, but they are a bit on the heavy side. There are some different options for the bike as well. You can get it with SRAM Rival, Shimano 105, you can get it with Ultegra and also Ultegra Di2, and you can also get the bike with different wheel sets. The way I ride a gravel bike, it makes sense to have 2 chain rings though, even though it comes with a bit of weight penalty. That's why I went with the Shimano Ultegra option. Since I am a heavy rider, I'm not overly focused on weight of the bike, but I still did some investigations of where there is unnecessary weight on the bike and how to potentially upgrade it so that it gets a bit lighter. Then I looked at the frame. The frame of the Wilier Jena is 995 grams and the fork is 450 grams. And if I compare that with the previous gravel bike I had, which was a Ridley X-Trail, the frame on that one is 1040 grams for a medium sized frame, and the fork was 490 grams. So a bit heavier, but basically the same. If I look at another bike, gravel bike, that I think is a really good bike, the Specialized Diverge. The frame on that one is less than 900 grams for the S-Works. And for the fork, I have found different figures searching on the internet for the fork weight on the Specialized Diverge, but it ranges between 450 to 490 grams, depending a bit on which parts of the future shock that have been included in the weigh-in, I guess. The future shock on the Specialized Diverge obviously adds some minor weight penalty to the bike, even though the S-Works model build is very light. But to be honest, that comparison is not really fair. The S-Works build obviously sports really great components all over the bike, and the price tag is a bit different as well to the Wilier Jena. But anyways, looking at the bikes I mentioned, there's 3 different gravel bikes, really good, all of them. Typically frame and fork together would be around 1.5 and 1.6 kilos for these bikes. I guess total weight of the bike is more related to the rest of the components and not to the frame. And I will get back to that, but first I will tell you a bit more about the components of the bike. So there's a flat mount disc brake with 160mm, and there's 100x12 TA in front and 142x12 through axle in the rear. And I think that's good because that's probably the most common standard, and therefore also it makes it easy to find different wheel set options if you would like to that. There's a Mavic all-road wheel set equipped on the bike, the one I got it with Shimano Ultegra R8020 disc group set. The handlebar is a Ritchie Road Comp Ergo Max. The stem is a Ritchie Comp 4-axis. There's a Shimano Ultegra 1130 cassette. Bottom bracket is a BB386 standard with press fit. The tires that came with the bike were Mavic Xeon Elite All-Road Extra Large 40mm. The saddle was a Cell San Marco Squadra Startup, but I replace saddles anyway on all the bikes I get, so I get saddles that fit me, so it doesn't really matter to me. The seat mast was a Ritchie Comp version 2 aluminum seat post or seat mast. The Ritchie handlebar that comes with the bike is however really good, and even though it is a bit on the heavy side, I like the grip and the slight flare on the handlebar. The hoods are in a good position and not in an awkward position like some of the other flared handlebars. So finally, some of the things I really like with the Wilier Jena is that it looks super cool. It has got loads of clearance, ability to fit studded tires, 44mm tires maximum on a 28-inch wheel, or you can even go for a 650B wheel with mountain bike tires. It's a very stiff 60-ton carbon fiber frame, which I think is actually a bit uncommon for use on a gravel bike. The main compliance is supposed to come from big tires, even though the rear triangle is also offering some comfort the way it is designed. Quite upright and comfortable riding position on the bike that gives loads of confidence and control. The wheels are strong and tubeless ready, maybe a bit basic and heavy though. The handlebar again, it's really comfortable and gives a lot of control. And then best of all, the Wilier Jena is really fun to ride. It is fast, it feels competent and trustworthy, it has a great power transfer, and with all that stiffness, and it looks really good. So I like this bike.